we don't know how intense it's going to be. We don't know what is going to happen. And so I'm not here to freak anybody out. However, I do want to talk about some things that I feel like creators need to watch out for and put in place so that they are taken care of as much as possible and are in a good standing regardless of what happens. Welcome to the A1 podcast. My name is Moi Oloruntoba, and if you are new to this podcast, essentially what we do here is talk about the business of content creation, particularly in Africa. Now, today we're going to talk about something that I've been seeing internationally quite a lot. So I feel like it's something we need to prepare for on the continent because unfortunately it can have some really tough results or experiences. So, okay, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the recession. And if you're like, okay, what does that have to do with the creators? Essentially, I've been listening to a lot of conversations, as I always do, about the creator economy, which I love. Now, in the United States, they have officially hit the recession. Like if you had to look at the terminology of what is a recession, they have hit that. And in South Africa, I had researched and I didn't see any article that states that we are officially in a recession. And I am not a financial anything. I'm not a financial consultant. I'm not nothing. Please, let me put out this disclaimer. I am not a financial consultant. I'm not a financial, I don't even know the proper terminologies. That's how far away from, the financial world that I am in regards to, the economic side of things and all of that. However, I do run a business and I do work in an industry of which I pay attention to. And so when things affect what I do, I need to pay attention to it. And I also have like a baseline understanding of things. Don't quote me on that. But, I have a bit of knowledge that makes me aware of things, of which I then go and actually find a financial consultant to gain more clarity on it. So a lot of the things that we're going to talk about right now, please don't take them as a be all end all. It's a conversation with me and you about this creator economy. And that is why I always want to know your input. I always want to know your thoughts. So if you're listening to this on any podcast platform, make sure you screenshot and tag us at thea1.co. I would love to know your thoughts. And if you're watching this on YouTube, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Firstly, have you heard about the Creator Recession? Have you heard about it? Have you? Well, let's talk about this Creator Recession. Now, I don't think it's actually like an official term, but according to a lot of conversations and according to history, really, this will be the first time that the creator economy exists within a recession. So the creator economy is still a pretty new industry. I think it's just about a decade old, plus or minus. And this will really be the first time that we're going to see kind of a global recession take place. And yeah, I don't really count the pandemic as the pandemic is like its own unique situation. Do you know what I mean? And so a lot of people have been commenting about what the recession will do to a lot of industries. Now, in South Africa and Africa, I haven't really seen a lot about the recession just yet. However, there have been articles that state that the global recession is going to have quite a toll on the continent. In South Africa, for example. So, we've seen things like load shedding. We've seen things like petrol prices really go high. We've seen a lot of things that are making individuals really cut back. And a lot of the things that we see globally are still going to have an effect on the continent. So if you're like, okay, but Moi, what does this have to do with me as a creator? Well, the thing is, a lot of creators make their money through brand partnerships. However, one of the main areas that takes a toll when there's things like recession is the marketing spend. So as a creator, if most of the money you make is from marketing, agencies and marketing departments, that means that it's going to have a toll on what comes into your bank account. This is why I am so passionate about the fact that creators should not make their bread and butter brand work. Like, it really needs to be something that is direct to consumer, but we'll talk about that in a second. And so that means that this global recession that people are talking about, we don't know how intense it's going to be. We don't know what is going to happen. And so I'm not here to freak anybody out. However, I do want to talk about some things that I feel like creators need to watch out for and put in place so that they are taken care of as much as possible and are in a good standing regardless of what happens. So let's talk about a few of those things. Number one, if you know that most of your money as a creator is coming from brand work, you need to take a step back. You need to stop, drop, and roll. No, sorry, I don't know why I did that. Essentially, you need to sit down with yourself and go over your finances. Check how much has been coming in and what is in your savings. Now, I did a TikTok or Reels about making money versus keeping money and how they are two separate skills. Like, one can make money, but the ability and the discipline to keep it is a whole nother conversation. And trust me, I know from personal experience. And so one really has to make sure that they have things in place to keep money. So as a creator, I would recommend that you go over your finances and you firstly see, okay, do I even have any savings? I don't think during a recession you should actually cut your prices. I asked a friend about this who worked in an agency at the time. And during the pandemic, I was like, do I need to cut my prices? He was like, listen, they will take care of themselves. You need to do what you do and charge what you charge. And so I recommend that, as a creator, you really start planning and think about things like your rates. Can you offer them on a tier basis? So for example, you can get this for $1,000. You can get this for $5,000. You can get this for $10,000. Give people a scale so that they can choose within their price range. When it comes to that, saving money, making money, two separate skills. So make sure you start, taking time to sit down, look at your finances, which, a lot of people, and I didn't do this as well, so I was in this category, don't want to look at their finances on a frequent basis. That's the part that caught me, is that I didn't really want to look at my finances constantly to evaluate that the goals that I set for myself were things that I was actually doing. Because it's easy to set goals. It's easy to say, yes, you need to save $1,000. But what does that mean in the day-to-day, in the week-to-week, in the month-to-month decisions? That's the tricky part. That's the kicker. And so when you take time to look at your finances, make it a weekly thing. Set yourself time so that you have weekly goals and you can, evaluate to see that you're on track or not on track and, correct things. And so it was one that I'm not gonna lie, it's something that I found nerve-wracking to do. It's something that I still have to literally force myself to do and be very disciplined to. But I know every time I do it, it is extremely beneficial to achieving my goals. So making money, keeping money, remember, two separate different skills. Step number 2. This is something that was a very interesting thing to learn because I never saw myself as a salesperson. And I'm still not. But it is something that I've realized a lot of creators who have established themselves really well as businesses and are able to make, really great incomes that they can live on. This is what they do. And that is step number 2, which is to have something to sell. Now, this might seem so weird because you're a creative person, you love creating content, you love talking about things, sharing about things. But if this is where your bread and butter comes from, if this is what you do to pay for things, pay for your lifestyle, then you really do need to protect it because things like a recession can have an effect on it. And so I just say that always try and find something within the value offering that you are giving as a creator and then tap into that with a product or service that you can put a price behind. So during this time, having something to sell is really, really key so that you have various forms of revenue and you're not so dependent on brands, which again, during times like a recession, they're often the ones that take the biggest knock. And then step number 3, which I kind of alluded to this a little bit in the first step, but for the full version of this chat, make sure you check it out on all available podcast platforms. Doing these financial disciplines will be great to do in a lifetime, for as long as you live. They're just great disciplines to have in your tool belt. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below or by tagging us at the a1.co. What do you think about this creator recession? Have you heard of a recession? Is this completely new to you? Have you been seeing articles or anything about this? Let me know. Also, what are your thoughts on keeping money? Making money is one thing, but keeping it is a whole nother situation. So let me know your thoughts. I am so curious to know what you think. Again, this is a conversation with me and you, so I am really interested to know your thoughts. And that's it from me. Thank you so much for tuning into this podcast. If you like these kind of conversations, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you review it. If you're listening to this on podcast platforms, let us know your thoughts. If you're watching on YouTube, give the thumbs up, do the subscribe, click on that notification bell. And if you've always wondered, how do I actually make money? Okay, yes, Moya, I'm learning how to keep money, but I need to make money first. Make sure you check out this video right here on the 3 monetization types you need as a content creator.